Hello everybody, it's Ryan again, and we're back at Bissett HQ once again. Today we're going to be covering the comparison between polyester strapping, which is otherwise known as PET, and steel strapping. So a couple common questions that we get is, when do you use PET and when do you use steel strapping? What are the pros and cons? What are we looking at for cost? And isn't PET weaker? Well, let's break it down for you. Let's start with composition and application comparisons. So for PET, it has elongation and contraction abilities. This comes in super handy when you have loads that'll shift or settle during transport. Something like lumber that takes on moisture and can expand, PET is easily able to adapt to this condition, whereas something like steel can't. For steel, on the other hand, it's a much stronger and tougher material. So this is really good against things with sharp corners or tough edges, whereas PET quite often needs cardboard corners to be able to handle things like that. However, this tougher complexion of steel can always cause problems with the outer portion of products by scratching it. PET's softer texture kind of avoids that problem. When looking at corrosion resistance, PET is the way to go. Polyester has great corrosion resistance and can withstand a lot of rain, whereas steel can't necessarily do that unless you go with the more expensive product of stainless steel. However, on the topic of UV rays, steel is the way to go. Steel has great UV resistance and it can sit in hot and sunny weather all day long, whereas PET, not so much. Unfortunately, it starts to decompose under extreme UV ray exposure. What are some other reasons you might pick one over the other? Well, on the safety side, steel is not only harmful to potentially the product, but also the operator. When applying the strapping or when taking it off, it can have a habit of lashing back at you, which can give you severe lacerations. PET shouldn't necessarily be taken lightly, however, it does have a much lower potential of risking injury than steel. On the topic of cost, PET can have a significant cost savings. You get double the length on a roll than you do on steel, and quite often it's about the same price. However, if you're choosing to go with a battery-operated tool, which we have here at Bissett, the Zappac 97A, you may have an initial increase in cost, but over time, you're now getting a much more efficient tool that saves you some labor and gets the job done quicker. And after a little while, this cost savings from PET actually ends up paying off that tool. So long term, it benefits for you. Let's address the concern of, isn't PET weaker? Well, no, not necessarily. Yes, there are some steel SKUs that have such high break strengths that PET can't reach. However, the most common ones, it's just a case of getting the right PET to match with the right steel. So quite often you just need a thicker or maybe wider PET that matches the same break strength as your steel. We here at Bissett are able to find perfect conversions for you for your PET or your steel, as well as do a cost analysis. So if you're curious what the right option is for you, please don't hesitate to contact us and we'll help you as best as we can. That brings us to an end of our steel versus PET comparison review. I hope you guys learned something new today. See you next time on our next packaging video.